right.
Small but mighty crowd.
Welcome.
We don't even need microphones, do we? No. All right. But we're going to use them so it sounds official. How is everybody? Good. There we go. Nice.
Welcome to Oklahoma. Have you been here before?
I don't think so. No.
No?
I honestly, like, that's the weirdest part about doing these cons. Like, so many times you just go, wait, have I? Was I?
Right. Do these four walls look familiar?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a sad part of maybe some of this, like, doing so many of these things is that, like, people go like, how do you like our city? And I go, I've seen your airport. I've seen a shuttle. I've seen a hotel and a convention center. It's phenomenal, you know. Like maybe a restaurant if I'm lucky, you know. It's like, and people will be like, "Are you gonna go do this? Go do that? Go do this?" I'm like, I will be here all day, and then I go eat and fall down into a bed and then wake up and repeat. So no, but it's been great. I haven't been hit by lightning yet, so that's kind of nice.
Well, last year, anybody here last year with us?
Was it
we had to shut the storm shutters because there was a tornado warning. Watch something.
Wow.
Warning. Watch one of the others.
Yes.
But yeah. So we had to shut down the windows and it was like, don't go outside.
Well, there you go.
Well, we were good in here.
That's a fun con,
right?
I guess.
Right.
I had this thought the other day. Why is it like every city wants to name like their team after like the potential natural disaster that could occur like in their region? You know, it's like I was like Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm like, yeah, it's like storms, and so, you know, it's like lightning, and you know, Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm like, this is like, what are we doing? You know, there are like earthquakes somewhere, like the quakes, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And instead, we could just go with like penguins, or you know, the Oklahoma City hummingbirds. That would work, right? No. Okay. No. Yeah.
All right.
Panthers.
So
there you go.
So let's get this out. So let's get this out of the way.
All right.
Not in GTA 6.
No, that was the weirdest day of my life. I don't know. He's referencing like you saw that,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
all of a sudden, like your social media goes nuts. Everyone's
because I had all these people going like, dude, that sounds like you in the trailer, and I'm like, and even Patricia, a dear friend of mine, said, did you do this game and like forget to tell me? And I'm like, No, what? And she's like, Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm like, I would tell you if I was in GTA 6. I'm like, I would break that NDA. And I said, so I look it up and I go, oh yeah, okay, I can hear some people like, you know, think it's like me doing my tough guy voice or something. And so I just decided, okay, because I had a few people going like, oh, anything you want to tell us? And I'm like, that is not me. So I tweeted out.
You have a bunch of people calling you a liar at that point, right?
Well, here's what's funny. So I'm gonna sidetrack. So I'm a big fan of like bird photography and things like these are hobbies that I have, and I've since like turned off all the comments on my Twitter just because it keeps me sane, and so but I laugh because I've got friends that'll be like, hey, I saw you post that bird pic, you know, you lost about 25 followers, you know, like they'll follow along with me because I always laugh and say as soon as I post a picture of a bird or something that I enjoy, I lose followers. I tweeted out that day just to confirm. Or I said, nope, not me, just to clarify, and then did hashtag, you know, GTA 6. And I picked up like 3,000 followers because all these people were like, oh, it became this like retweet thing. And I'm like, do people not? So then the next day, because I got a text message from Johnny, like a good buddy of mine from Apex Legends. And he's like, dude, one of the biggest games on earth, congratulations. And I was like, I'm not in it. And so then I got on the next day and I was like, just to clarify, I am not in this game, clarifying my tweet yesterday where I was clarifying that I'm not in the game, just to be clear. You know, and there's like 300 more followers. And I'm like, well, this is brilliant. I'm doing this all wrong.
Right.
I should just literally be like, just to clarify, I am not Troy Baker in Indiana Jones. Just to clarify, I'm not Mark Hamill. Just to clarify, I'm like start like, I'll break the internet.
Same thing.
I am not Milo Beasley, just to clarify.
Just to clarify. Same thing happened to Dana Snyder. He had a bunch that there's a character in the trailer, and he said, if I knew it wasn't me, I would have thought it was me.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So like so many people.
I know.
Yes.
Well, you know, we all kind of, I mean, you know, anytime you get like, you know, the stereotypical sort of like brooding protagonist kind of a thing, it's like everybody's got the, you know, like that voice you got to put on.
And then you're like, see, Rockstar,
and we all sound the same, I guess. You know, it's happening.
Right. Yeah. Rockstar needs to pay you for not being in the game.
Thank you. That's another angle I haven't thought about. I don't think that's going to happen.
So you mentioned your photography, which is something that I love. Does anybody still follow Roger after posting all his bird pictures? So I love your photography pictures, your sky, night sky photography. I think that's great. Obviously, birds, and you were able to capture a lot of that from your recent trip to New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how is that? Like,
that's crazy.
Again, that's something that you get to see outside the four walls of a convention center.
Well, in Southern Hemisphere, so we're all up in the Northern Hemisphere up here, and it was like bizarre. Literally, everything is like flipped upside down. So all the photographs that I've taken of the Milky Way and things like that in the past, I'm used to seeing like different regions, like the Antares region, and I'm like, all of a sudden it was like, wait, it's there and flipped upside down, and trying to align it and use a star tracker and all these things. Like, it's nerding out. This is why you guys are here, right?
Right.
This is literally, now I'm gonna like watch people start leaving my panel. They're like, he's talking about birds and photography. Let's just go. I'm here for Sonic.
It's gonna mimic your Instagram.
No, it was wild. It was like Australia, New Zealand, but really and truly, I'm like, it's strange enough for me to be in this business when all I wanted to do was just get a job. I wanted to work. It started 20 years ago. It was just like, I just want to get a gig. It's like I'm just trying to do something other than just what I was doing at the time, which is like being stuck in an office or that kind of thing. And I thought, man, it'd be fun to go pursue this. Maybe it'll happen. And then 20 years later, here I am in Oklahoma City, just kind of going, well, what brought me to Oklahoma City? Making duck farts into a microphone that started 20 years ago, right? It's like, it's bizarre. And then you throw in Australia, New Zealand, and London, and places that you just go, wow, it's crazy. And it's the reach of video games, the reach of the characters that you get to be a part of in these franchises, that kind of thing. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, I'm down there just going, I can't believe I'm in New Zealand, getting to do a Southern Hemisphere like Milky Way shot, right? Because I said, no copyright law in the universe is going to stop me, like 15 years ago. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, here we go. Here we are. Or, like a Requiescat in Pace or whatever it might be. You insert your franchise here. All of a sudden I'm in New Zealand. It's crazy. Yeah.
You mentioned games. Do you play Sonic or any of the other games that you voice?
I always try to play every game that I've ever been a part of. But I laughed. It started with Apex Legends when that game came out, and started playing it. Thank you. It bamboozled me because I started firing it up, and all of a sudden I was going like, okay, all right, it's like 30 seconds into the game, it's like dead, and I'm like, okay, well that's not. Come on, something must be wrong with the game. So start the game again. Like 15 seconds, it was dead, and I'm like, okay, let me try this again. Like I lasted about 40 seconds on the third attempt, then it was dead, and I just thought, man, this is okay. My reflexes are like failing me, or I'm like, video games are getting quick, and it's an insanely fast-paced game. So yeah, I do try now, but I don't know if there's a little bit of gray in the beard, and so it depends on the game. I definitely played Arkham Shadow when it came out because that was like, okay, it's VR, so that was fun. Again, nobody looks cool doing VR. That's the hilarious thing, especially when you're by yourself in your room, just kind of like as a grown man, banging my hand against the edge of the couch and not realizing feeling very unlike Batman in those moments. But no, I try to play because with voiceover, we rarely have any idea what we're doing or what it's going to be like when it comes out, because we sort of sometimes you're lucky if you even see art concepts of your character. Sometimes it's just a script and hardly any stage direction or understanding of what the character's doing, that kind of thing. And so I always like to I say this very often at the table. That it's a massively collaborative effort. A lot of people will say, why did you choose to do that voice, this way or that kind of thing? And I always say, guys, I am a hired gun. I show up, I listen to my director. The director has the ear of the client. The client has told the director what they want to achieve. I ask a lot of questions of the writers, the producers, to kind of go, hey, what is it that we're doing? How do we want this to work? How do you want this to sound? Even with Sonic the Hedgehog that we've done for 15 years now, if I show up and Jack, our director, who's directed me this entire time, I'll just say, what are we doing? Are we going to do something different? And Frontiers was a perfect example. I showed up thinking all right, here we go. And he's like, not doing it that way. And I was like, what? What are we doing now? And he's like, we're doing a serious, it's a more, there's higher stakes in this version. And so suddenly we do this different thing. So I'm always curious to see when a game comes out, what was that collaborative, creative collective vision that they wanted to create. And so I do try to play, but I'm getting worse and worse at video games. So, and there's other things that I'd rather go do now, which is I do love gaming. I mean, some of my favorite memories of just childhood and growing up and that kind of thing. It's another aspect of this career is like, I cannot believe that I remember the first time I saw Sonic the Hedgehog. This will date me. Saw it in a display window at a Circuit City down in like Tustin, California, and was watching this game that was scrolling so fast. Like up until that point, games did not move that fast. And then this character that if you stopped playing would like tap its foot and look at its watch and it was like, whoa, like breaking that fourth wall of like, it's like the game is telling me it wants me to play it, all those things. It's kind of crazy to see where we've come. And so I love, getting a chance to kind of like play the game, find out what it's like and see what's going on. But apparently I've lost my edge. I'm gonna have to turn in my gamer card. Yeah.
Speaking of those old school games, obviously Sonic, Mario have had huge blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
They're making an Oregon Trail movie.
Everybody's just gonna die of dysentery. That's all that ever happens in that thing, right? Does anybody out there know what Oregon Trail is?
Okay.
How is it still something that like? Do you guys play it in elementary?
Anybody played on like the black and green DOS?
Texas Instruments computers?
Yes.
Like, is it still that or is it on your iPad? It's a card game?
Right.
Okay, but like on a crappy
But like
computer?
we all played like, anybody else play like on the black screen with the green text on the DOS?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there an old school favorite video game of yours that you would like to see get the movie treatment?
Ooh, weird. Huh. Did Zaxxon ever become like a thing? Or like maybe Moon Patrol? Moon Patrol would be weird. It would just be a lot of like jumping over things. I don't know. Have they done a Ninja Gaiden movie? How have they not? Because that's a cool game.
Right.
That's a very cool game. How have they not done that? Well, you know what? The curse of video game movies forever was like they bomb.
Right.
And they don't make money. And then a little movie that I'm just now hearing about, Sonic the Hedgehog, is a movie apparently. I didn't know about this. What? How has my phone not been ringing? Awkward. No, it's which is amazing to see that between the Mario movie, that my God, now we got Minecraft movie. Apparently, everybody's loving that, right?
Nice.
Like, have you guys seen it? No? Okay, yeah. Ooh, tepid response. Very judgmental crowd with the Minecraft. Apparently, Zelda. Yeah, exactly. We heard about that. Yeah. No, it's yeah. I don't know. I'm like trying to think of what could you do with Donkey Kong. That would just be weird. That's King Kong, but with barrels.
Well, this is true. Right.
And Mario. Never mind. Chris Pratt doesn't need more work. We got to stop hiring him because he's like Chris Pratt is Donkey Kong and Mario. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird because like some of the old games they just didn't have.
Right, characters.
Yeah, characters. That's why like it's
asteroids would,
Yeah, exactly.
You could. I mean, you could make up a story behind that.
They would, and it would star Chris Pratt. Yeah, as Star-Lord, something. Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned Batman earlier, and I want to talk about a recent iteration that you were able to do, and it's Batman Who Laughs.
Ah, yes.
Right. How soon into that project of Dark Legion did you know that was on the table?
Well, I think we worked on a trailer first, and it's so like that character scares me more than anything that I work on, I think, because I just look at it like, ooh, this is a really, really cool combination. This is a very deliciously evil, dark character, but like trying to incorporate elements of and not have it sound like I'm lampooning the Joker. Right. Or even lampooning Batman in some way. Like it's a fascinating character. I still am like kind of like I want to get it so much better because it's real tricky. Like how do you do? For me, it's the laugh. Like for me, it's like trying to find a laugh that is original to and is not too rooted in the Joker. So for me, it's always like starting like low and trying to incorporate something that's a little bit more Batman-esque. But when have I ever laughed as Batman?
Right.
I mean, literally, like in the iterations that I've done, like throughout, it's like maybe he goes, huh. I mean, that's it. Like,
Right.
It's like, yeah, kind of a serious guy, you know?
That could be a positive because they're not going to say, "Hey, you don't sound like a Batman laugh," because if he doesn't have one,
That's the thing. So it's no, but that's and I hope everybody's having a good time playing that one because I know my own agent who books me at these cons like shows me all of his progress as Batman, and he's like I got 200,000 points, and I'm just like, that's great, man. I haven't even started it yet. I'm like, I'm way behind. No, that was I think we started with a trailer, and then it's like trying to finesse the different lines and things like that, and understanding, and even then I think we did like 3 versions of that.
Oh, okay.
Trying to like really just finesse what works, what doesn't work, and how should this character sound, and that kind of thing. So no, I'm honored to be even just getting a chance at that. I'm honored anytime somebody hires me to do anything in any project, any game, anything like that. But when it's cool characters that are kind of like, ooh, I like bad guys. Yeah. Dark characters are fun.
Yeah, I love Batman Who Laughs. So being able to see that, being able to brought to life in a way in the video games.
Does it work for you? All right, I'm putting you on the spot. Like right now, you could say like, no, not really.
No.
I'd rather you confirm that you were not in the game.
Right.
I'd follow you then. Just to clarify.
Just to clarify,
I'm not in this game.
By the way, so as I mentioned, we do have a mic right there. If you want to start lining up, as they line up, I'm going to ask you my favorite question, and that is, while doing these conventions, like here at GalaxyCon, has there been a moment where you were either sitting next to another celebrity or saw somebody in the green room, and you kind of fanboyed out a little bit? You kind of like couldn't speak, or maybe you spoke too much and said something you shouldn't have.
It's so strange. Like these things can be very like you have to be very like careful, I guess. Yeah, I mean, there's been moments like that throughout the entirety of it. It's like, yeah, and it's weird ways. Actually, one of the stranger things, and I finally got to, I ran into him at the hotel when we arrived, and it's Dana Gould. I don't know if you know who Dana Gould is. You should. For me, my background into this, my foray into this industry was doing stand-up comedy. Then I got into college and I majored in screenwriting for my degree. I thought I was going to be like a writer, for just, I don't know what, television, movies, anything. I was just going to try to be a writer, and maybe I would do stand-up as like keeping my chops and kind of like staying, like I keep the finger on the pulse of like what's funny and contemporary and what we can comment on, societally, all that kind of stuff. And then more and more, I was doing characters and voices in my act, and that's what had the industry saying like, "Hey, are you a radio guy? Are you a cartoon guy? You do all these characters." And I was like, "No, like, how's that work?" Like, "Oh, you can just do voiceovers." And I was like, "Okay, what's that?" But Dana Gould has been a writer on The Simpsons 25 years ago, 27 years ago, maybe even. Yeah, good Lord. No, actually, it would have been a very long time ago. I was a PA at the age of 20. So I was a PA on a Fox live action pilot. So I was like lowly production assistant. That's about as low as it gets in a production call sheet. And it had like Robert Englund was in it. It had like the actor, I forget his name. This is terrible. He was on a soap. Some of the older folks in the audience might remember Trapper John MD from the 70s, I think it was. That person was in it. Dana Gould was in it. Like Bobcat Goldthwait was the director on the thing. It was all these things. And I'm on this, and I just remember like watching Dana Gould like turn around and crack up the audience. It was a typical sitcom, like in front of a live audience kind of thing. And here we are this many years later, I'm doing a convention with Dana Gould. And so I walked up to him, and he could not have been more gracious. And I was like, I just got to tell you real quickly. I'm like, you had me cracking up. He would do appearances on terrestrial radio when I was driving up to audition for jobs up in LA. He would do a thing where he lampooned a character, an actual real life individual by the name of Huell Hauser, who was on PBS. And it was called like, it was like something about, it was like California Gold, thank you. And I'm Huell Hauser, and he had this very interesting way of talking, and he was like, And Dana has done some sort of spoofs of it, and he would do it on like Adam Carolla's show when he was on terrestrial radio back in the day. And the man had me dying laughing to the where I had to pull over one time on the freeway because I was tearing up so much from laughing. And so I got a chance to meet Dana and do stuff like that, and just go like, dude, I was a PA. And he's like, no way, yes, Chief, I remember that. I was like, yeah, man, it was like a long time. He goes, yeah, it was, and it shelved. Never saw the light of day, kind of thing. It has so many projects, but no, it's. How do you not? I mean, you get to look at Lou Ferrigno's here. It's like I was a kid watching the Hulk. It's like you just go. It's crazy. Yeah, no, it never gets old. I mean, like I'm walking behind. Like I'm like, well, there's William Shatner. It's like, but I've also been very, very fortunate to like work for 7 seasons on regular show with Mark Hamill and meet Kevin Conroy, and and get to meet these heroes of mine and just kind of go, yeah, it does not get old. If you think it's as neat as it would be, I guarantee you it's far more neat than you can imagine. So yeah, no, it's neat. Yeah, we shared a ride home with Elizabeth yesterday. Yes, and it was just like, oh my God, it's like Saved by the Bell. Like okay, nice to meet you, lovely talking to you. Like here we go. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, no, it never gets old.
Hello.
Next question. Get out of here, Baldy McNose hair. Not gonna answer it. How dare
I knew that you knew who I was. We've been fighting for like 35 years.
That's true. Next year, 35th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog in 2026. It's crazy.
I just have one question for
Yes.
you spiny little pincushion. Have you ever improv'd any of your dialogue and or disagreed with the set dialogue by the director?
Of course, and yes. My goodness, I would say that there have been a lot of fun moments that we would improv during Sonic Boom, if that was an opportunity. We had a lot of fun doing that. This happens all the time. I think as a performer in a video game, you might just kind of go, I don't know that the character would say that or say it in this way. And thankfully, this many years into it, I'm a little more comfortable kind of like doing that sort of thing. It's part of the collaborative effort. I mean, sometimes it's very difficult writing for games and creating a production and doing that kind of stuff. And people just are like, they need to get from A to B and they're just trying to problem solve. And they don't really think about maybe, would the character say it in this way? You might be stumbling over a line because somebody hasn't read their dialogue out loud. They haven't performed it. They just wrote it out and didn't realize like it's really difficult to say that or phrase it that way, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's happened. I mean, there's been times in my life, even with Sonic, where I've said like, he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't do that. It's like that wouldn't happen. I mean, that's just the benefit of having done something for 15 years and knowing things, or just saying, ooh, we wouldn't go there with this character, and kind of pushing back, because you get new writers, new crews, new productions. Sometimes it's licensed, and so it's with a different production company altogether, and you got to say, hey, ooh, this is not part of this character. But the improv, it all depends. I mean, I like to do a little pre-life and post-life to align, to give it a little more kind of liveliness, so it just doesn't feel like read out loud dialogue. But it just depends. Depends on the situation.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're dead to me.
I hate that.
I hate myself.
No, I did that. Did you guys? I did Jim Cummings' podcast. And Jim Cummings, one of the first Dr. Eggman's Robotnik, and he did that. He said, like, they do this fun thing where he like has people say lines as the character, and he wanted me to repeat it as I think Robotnik. And he said, like, I hate that hedgehog. And I said, I hate myself. That was the joke. Nicely done, by the way. Great cosplay.
Hi, what's your name?
Dakota, my question is, when you were working on the Assassin's Creed, what was the best and hardest moments in the creation of that game?
Ooh,
And did you play it?
Say that again?
Did you play it?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Yeah. No, I was way into gaming at that time. I had more time on my hands, which was nice. But no, so I think my favorite memory is from AC2, the moment that he's in the town square after he's witnessed the betrayal, after he's witnessed his family, like the men in his family being murdered, and he's going to seek revenge. And he gets that first moment of revenge. He dons the outfit. He does it in front of everybody in the square, and he stands up and says, "The Auditore are not dead. I'm still here. Me, Ezio Ezio Auditore, and just screams it. And it was a fun moment for me, like in the booth. I remember looking at the engineer and going like, hey man, I'm gonna go loud on this. And he's like, yeah, I got it. And I was like, oh, this dude's not ready for what I'm about to do. Because I just thought, I remember telling the director, I'm like, this is pivotal. Like, this is the moment. It's not about donning the outfit. It's about, he's basically declaring to the heavens and below and to everyone around that he's the one to be reckoned with. And I said, so I want it to be big. I want it to be loud. And she's like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's see what you can do. And I blew out on the first take. They didn't have it low enough because it was too loud. So we got a second pass at it. And it was just, it was such a fun thing that it's rare that you get to have those moments as a performer. And I loved getting to do that, just like, you know, kind of coming for me, or coming for you, I should say. You know, and I'm the one. And then I would say that the hardest part was anytime it was like early on, I think it was halfway through Brotherhood, that in that game, they started doing more of like facial motion capture. And they started out with just a camera in the booth and somebody operating the camera. And it was like, and then there'd be these moments where you want like Ezio to be like putting the moves on his lady, you know? And there was a dude in the booth with me who would sit behind the camera, and they wanted me to deliver the lines to the camera, and there'd be like some guy in like shorts eating a sandwich behind and I'm going like, salute, my lady, you know, like, how are you? And I'd be like, dude, can you just not eat the sandwich while I'm trying to like make love to your camera? And he was like, oh yeah, cool, all right, man, yeah, it's cool. And then you just got like some dude who's, you know, sitting there like going like, yeah, go ahead, man. Oh, I did not do that. It's the ghost of Ezio.
We got a clock down.
That's cool.
What are we gonna do?
Wait, is somebody, oh, look at this. Everybody applaud. Well done, well done. Like,
And now we know how much time is left.
oh, that's, you know what it is? It's just the dulcet tones of my voice are vibrating that monitor so much. Dulcet tones. Yeah, so that was, I would say the hardest part was making love to the camera with a dude standing right behind it. That would probably be the hardest part, yeah. It's just like, and it's so funny, like when you're literally just kind of going like, and I love the theater of the mind of voiceover so much that anytime like performance capture gets a little tricky because now I have to think, oh, I gotta watch what I'm doing with my face and think about it and actually like try to lock in and suddenly you're doing, but even then it's hilarious because like, I mean, Tara and I would talk about this on Arkham Shadow, where we were like, you know, you have to have these conversations, but you're wearing like hockey helmets with like orthodontic, you know, stuff like hanging off of it with a bright light in your eyes, and you can't see one another, and it's like, you know, and you're trying to like literally be intense or this kind of thing, and yet having to angle your helmets, you know, in weird ways. It's very wonky. It's like that's maybe the challenge is like trying to break out of like I'm wearing a unitard with ping pong balls all over it and trying to go like, listen to me, Joker. You know, it's like, you know, just feeling so not tough in those moments. So yeah, it's those moments. Probably not the answer you're expecting, right? Making love to the camera with a dude standing behind it as Ezio. Like, you know, you're the love of my life, Doug. Could you just leave the room, Doug? You know, that kind of thing.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Riley.
Hi, Riley.
I was wondering what your all-time favorite Sonic quote was.
Holy cow. It's got to, I mean, well, you know what? Okay, so my favorite line that I've ever uttered was not as Sonic, but it's in the Sonic universe, and it was during Sonic Boom, Shock of All Shocks, and it was as Dave the Intern. And it was, stop telling me what to do, you're not my mom's boyfriend. Because I just thought, that line has so much subtext and darkness behind it. It's the great, I was like, who wrote this? This is brilliant. Like, stop telling me what to do. Like I'm gonna stand up for myself. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom's boyfriend. I'm like, oh, the history, like we got a divorce, hopefully, or maybe not, you know, a little infidelity going on, like, you know, and this poor guy's getting bossed around by his mom's boyfriend, but this is his big moment to stand up to somebody else. Like, yeah, I loved that. As Sonic, probably Boom, well, Colors, which I know everybody's just like, this is the dumbest line ever. Like, no copyright law in the universe is gonna stop me. That's a fun one, because it's just like, okay. But from, probably from Sonic Boom, it was the moment where I'm coming in for a hard landing, Tails. You got me covered. And Tails goes like, Roger. And then Knuckles goes, who's Roger? And I look at the director, Jack, and he goes, go ahead. And I just broke the character. And I was like, he's talking to me.
Thanks, buddy.
I was like,
Thank
yeah, there you
you.
go. That's fun. Thank you. Thank you, Riley.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Corey.
Hello, Corey.
So I was wondering what your favorite ad-lib moment from Sonic Boom is.
So not so much of an ad lib as I'm sorry. I realize I keep doing this and like I'm probably driving you guys nuts back there. Sorry. That's probably why the thing fell off. Just like. It wasn't so much ad lib as it was they were just like, go ahead, and it was excuse me. It was when I read in the script and they're like, Sonic is bored. He's like waiting for his friends to come rescue him or save him or something or show up. And they're like, and to pass the time, he makes mouth noises. And I was like, what is that? I'm like asking the director, I was like, Jack, what is it? What do they want? And he goes, you know how in between takes you're always doing weird things and making sounds and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah. Because I'm like, it's so much of animation is like you're just trying to keep this energy up, so everybody's kind of zinging in the booth, like you're always just sort of like talking and I say it's like herding cats for a director, because even in a show like Avengers Assemble, like we're just trying to keep an energy, because if you don't, it really starts to seep into the performance. Like it just feels slow and it's kind of lethargic and it's not fun, and you're sitting in there for 4 hours, just trying to figure out like how we're doing this, and I'm throwing a shield and battling Red Skull and that kind of thing. And so I have these weird, not tics, but just things that I do that help me with like the timing of stuff. And it could be, you name it. I'm snapping my fingers. I'm a big fan of hand farts, like, just doing weird sounds. But sometimes it'll be just randomly, just stuff. Shut up, baby. So, random things, right? So I would just, you name it. And so they just are like, yeah, just do all that. And I was like, what? They're like, just do what you do. And I'm like, but I don't do it as Sonic. And they're like, doesn't matter, he does now. And I was like, okay. And so there's it's all on the internet still. It still lives, it's like, and I just said this. Like just stupid stuff. And I was like, this is the greatest. You're literally paying me to do that. So yeah, it wasn't so much an ad lib as it was just like, all right, I'll just throw it all at you. So yeah, that was it. Yeah, sorry. Thank you. It's literally nonsensical utterances. That was my favorite ad lib.
All right, so it's a little bit dark to see. So we have about 10 minutes left.
Oh,
I
shoot,
think
okay.
we can get through.
I'm gonna get through everybody.
Yes.
Speed round.
We gotta go fast.
So my name's Colton, and my question was, how did you get the role of Sonic the Hedgehog?
I auditioned.
What was the audition?
I mean, literally, I know a lot of people always ask it, and I usually go, the boring answer is like, literally, I audition. We audition all the time. I'm auditioning all the time. It was showing up along with a bunch of other people, and they had a TV playing, like footage of like Satayan. They had like, oh God, every iteration of the previous character that you can imagine, both Jason, Ryan, Jaleel, like it was all there. And they're like, we're just giving you a brief history of what it sounded like, where we're at, and what we're trying to do now. And just walked in and said like, okay, so I heard all that. Like, what do we want? Like, try like this, try like that. And that was it. It was an audition.
Oh, that works for me.
Sorry, I know, yeah. You waited in line for that. I should have just left it auditioned. Next question.
Hi, my name's Deontay.
Hey, Deontay.
Do you think your voice will stay the same like it was in Frontiers from now on, or do you think you'll go back?
I don't think so. I mean, like if you watch like what we've done, the change that they did for Frontiers, I think was just because they.
I mean, if I was talking like this
With all those like father-daughter, vibes that were going on with Egghead, it wouldn't have worked. I think it would have felt like a little too stilted and weird and kind of silly. And so they wanted something that was a little more grounded. Like everybody changed their performances for that game in particular. Everybody kind of sort of softened or lowered or took the edge off of the strident sort of nature of the voice. So I don't think they're going to stick with it, but they might for another game. I mean, I would have my fingers crossed. If it would be so neat and such a feather in the cap of my career if there was ever. I know the fan base has been calling for it forever to have like a Sonic Adventure 3. I have no idea. It would be amazing to think that something like that could happen someday. I have no idea how long I'm going to be doing this. We're still making games. We're still getting all the social media stuff. We're still doing, X takeovers, Twitter takeovers. And when we do those, and when we do some of like Tails Tube and stuff like that, it's not the Frontiers version. So I would imagine I think there's so many different iterations now. We've got the Netflix series with Devin doing the voice. You got Ben Schwartz doing it for the cinematic universe. So I think there's kind of like now we can kind of play and do different blends and different approaches to it, which I think is kind of cool. It's kind of exciting. It would be neat to think that there's not just going to be just one version throughout. So I don't think they're going to stick with it, but I would be the last to know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
What was your favorite part about making Dying Light?
So back then I was making the commute from Orange County up to LA. So it was like 2.5 hours of traffic each way, like just to go do this gig. And Kyle Crane, if anybody out there has yet to play Dying Light, and for the parents in the audience, he's a bit of a potty mouth. So dropping the F-bomb like 5 times in one line over and over and over again was really cathartic for like shaking off the stress of LA traffic. So yeah, it was that. Yeah, it was that.
Did you play Dying Light?
Oh yes, yeah. I say this all the time to people. I go, look, games are interesting. You can't have narrative be the driving force of a video game, in my opinion, and have a really great video game. You have to have a blend of the two. And if you're going to sacrifice in one area, sacrifice in narrative over gameplay, because it is interactive and it needs to be a video game first and foremost. And so this is, with all due respect, this is one of the reasons why I'm like, I never hear people say like, oh, I can't wait to get home and replay Death Stranding. It's like, it's a great long form movie, I guess, but it's like, my God, Dying Light, the gameplay that they created in there, like people still go back and play it to this day, the first one, because it's just a really well made video game. And so, yeah, I played it, loved it. I get queasy whenever I climb the tower and the wind starts to blow even more and the tower starts to sway and creak and that kind of thing. It's like, I definitely played. I play all my games when they come out. I would just, because like I say, I want to see what everybody wanted to create.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Dakota.
Dakota.
I guess just the question I had, like you mentioned the Twitter takeovers earlier.
Yeah.
How do you, like, what's the process like for recording those? Because the questions come in like that day, and it seems like the answers come out like either at the end of the day or the day after. So whenever I try to record something, it always takes me like a decent amount of time just to get started. So what's it like for you guys?
That's exactly the same way it is for us. They have an entire team. It is utterly amazing to watch. With this Twitter takeover thing, very quickly is literally they do like a hashtag Ask Sonic or Ask Shadow or whatever it is, and they basically just have these characters take over the official Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account. It's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok now. And the fans get to ask questions, and it's literally, I forget how many thousands of questions come in. And I think last year they matched or broke the record of answering 43. Oh, wow. So you can imagine, because it's this. Question comes in. The team sits there and says, that's a good question. Let's write a sketch. They write. There's like 5 of them sitting there going like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? They create a sketch. They give the sketch to us, the actors, because we're sitting in a booth, just sitting around microphones, just waiting to, new script popped up on our iPad. And then we go, okay, all right, yeah, okay, cool, all right, oh yeah, we got it, all right. And then rolling, and it's like, it's like, Egghead, why are you at my door? It's like theater of the mind, radio play stuff. They do that, then we record it, they go, yep, we got it. That goes to the room next door where they got an entire team of people that are handling the audio, the visuals, and plugging it into these things, and it's like it's fascinating to watch happen, but it's a long process, and that's why you see stuff come out long after we've left the building. They just trickle them out all day long. That's how it goes.
Wow. And I guess just one more thing to add on to it. In the latest one, Sonic is doing an Ezio impression. Can Ezio do a Sonic impression?
Got to go fast. Eat more chili dogs.
That's great. Thank you.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me. It is over, Egghead.
Requiescat in pace.
Hello.
I'm just like ruining all these characters.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Gabe.
Hey.
Quick question.
Yes.
Out of all the Sonic games, what was your favorite one to voice act in?
That's tough. I have a blend. I think, honestly, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the way they dabbled in Frontiers. I think that's kind of a cool territory to kind of play around in. It's a blend between Colors and Generations for me, only because I thought getting to play with classic Sonic and Generations was a lot of fun. Like at the very end, like, enjoy your future, it's going to be great. It was like, that's cool. That's neat. That's a neat little call. And I think they were kind of finding a stride with some of the writing at around Generations. So yeah, kind of a blend of all three of those.
Okay. Yeah.
But the best answer is the next one, because that means I'm working again.
Thank you so much.
Good question. How are we? Are we looking good?
Yep, we got a little less than 5 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna make it.
Hello.
Let's see. What do you got? We can do this. All right. Speed round.
Okay.
As I said earlier.
Hello. So you mentioned that you often have to, or sometimes have to play characters without a lot of context
Yes.
for the character, even what you're saying. Has there ever been any big surprises in the final product where you're like, oh, I didn't know they were going to use my voice like that?
Oh yeah. On just about everything.
Really?
Literally just about everything, because we just don't know. I mean, like sometimes they'll plug it in. I remember like there was a scene with Ezio where, and I think it was from Revelations, where I said something and then I played the game and I realized, oh, he's saying it to a dude he's picking up off the ground. But I didn't know that. So I would have been much quieter and maybe a little bit more intimate with my voice. And instead I was just like yelling at the guy about like joining the Brotherhood or something like that. I was just like, you join the fight, my friend. You want to go? I was just like, he's right there. Like he didn't hit his head. He's not deaf. The guy can hear you. It's like, yeah, stuff like that. It happens all the time.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of like cogs in the machine that have to happen, and it gets disjointed at times. It happens all the time.
Crazy. Thank you.
Thank you. We can do this. We can do this. I want to get through everybody.
Hi, I'm Vivi.
Hi, next question.
All right. My question is, like,
Yes.
at the start of your career, have you ever imagined doing the voice of Sonic? Like, you knew that you were perfect for that character?
No, nothing. The fact that, like I just said, like the fact that I'm here in Oklahoma City, I'm just going, what is life? How has this happened? No, it's crazy to like, I approach everything as I just want to do right by my directors and my producers, and I want to like nail the audition. That's the fun of this job. It's like executing on what can I do? What can I do to perk their ears up so they go, that was cool. That was a cool choice. Let's listen to this guy, you know? And then all of a sudden it becomes a thing, and I can't think like that. I'm not in the booth going, okay, I'm Batman, I'm Batman, I'm Batman. I'm just like, director, are we keeping me honest? Like, am I doing good work here? Like, are you okay? I just think that, and then all of a sudden I'll be here and somebody go like, I can't believe you're Batman. And I'm like, I know, right? Like, neither can I. I'm 5'5". I should not be Batman. Yeah, no, it's like, you know, if I work out too much, I get tendonitis for like 6 months. So I'm not Batman, but I am in a way with an asterisk.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, what do we got? Is that
We
four people?
Okay, let's do it. Yes or no answers?
Hi, my name is Des.
No, it's not. Next question.
I was gonna ask, who are your top two favorite Sonic characters based off of their visual design?
Big the cat.
Based?
Big the cat.
And it kills me, but Shadow.
Thank you, and
Sorry.
your second option is correct.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, what's
Hi.
your favorite bird you've ever photographed?
Say that again.
What's your favorite bird you've ever photographed?
Oh, bird. Oh, in New Zealand, I tried so hard to get it. It's literally called like the New Zealand fantail, and it's these like little sparrow-sized little birds that they move around like crazy, and every time they move, their little tail goes blip, and it literally looks like somebody whipping open a fan. And it was like the neatest little thing. It was just like they're just hilarious. They're little colorful little things. They have these like black and white tails, and they just boom. Yeah, it's just one of
That's the
those.
best option.
Yeah, thank you. And hummingbirds. I love hummingbirds.
Hello.
Thank you.
Okay, so if Sonic had to like team up with a different character like in the Marvel series like Spider-Man, what would his reaction would be like?
Probably just disappointed about how slow everybody else is.
Let's be honest. He's like, seriously, Hulk? That's the best you got? Oh, I'm so big and I smash things. That's great.
Both
And
Sonic and Spider-Man have a lot of agility too.
That's true. That's true. That's true. They would be good.
All right,
Okay,
20
we can do
seconds,
this.
go.
20 seconds. We can do this. Okay. Hi.
Hey, question.
Yes.
So we have
Meaning of life. Go.
three.
Yep, exactly.
I guess 3 people doing the character of Sonic now.
Yeah.
And many before.
Yeah.
Do you ever base your take on it either through past or future iterations?
No,
of other
they
people's?
based theirs on mine. Okay. But if I was directed to do so, I would. Yeah.
I mean, like Ben Schwartz does it. Do you take his take on it and involve it in yours?
If they wanted me to,
Yeah.
sure. You know, like that would be, that's the challenge of the job. And if it was Devin, I'd be like, okay. But I mean, I think Devin and I are more closely aligned than we
Right.
are with like Ben.
Yeah,
So
got
it would be something weird that they would want to like be blending something like that.
Right.
Let's get to the kids.
Thank
We
you.
can do it. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
question.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, this is Melody.
Just shout it out.
Who is your favorite character?
My favorite character of all time? Milo Beasley. No. Let's see. My favorite character of all time. Mickey Mouse. Like for me that I've done, or just characters? Oh, it is Sonic? Like that's the correct answer? No. Oh, in Sonic. Dave the intern. Look at Eggman. Eggman was pointing to himself. That's so Eggman. Okay, we can do this. All right. We got it.
Okay.
Okay.
What is your favorite Sonic Boom skit?
His favorite Sonic Boom skit? Oh, like the episode would have been where Egghead and I swapped personalities, because it was a chance for me to make fun of Mike Pollock.
Oh.
And for him to make fun of me. It was great. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
It was like, evil Sonic.
It was just like,
I'll take over the world, but fail miserably because that's all I ever do. Look
Thank
at
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last question.
Last one, we got it.
Is it possible if you could say your favorite line from Dying Light?
No, thank you, everybody. Just my favorite line. My favorite line from Dying Light. I'm not going to be able to say because there are children in the room. But I say, how about? I just know one of these days I'm going to land on a bag of rusty knives.
Yeah.
And then we got Dying Light the Beast coming out in August, I think, summer of this year. I think maybe August. I don't know. Summer. But yeah, they're back. 10 years later, here we go again.
Thank you, sir.
We did it.
Thank you. We did it. Nicely done, everybody. Thank you.
So, to commemorate this, us getting it done, how about we take a giant group selfie up here?